And welcome back to another episode of Rage Across the Internet. I'm your host, Porter. To my left, as always, producer Joey.
Hey, guys.
And hey, guess what? In the studio today, we have a special guest with us. It's Mr. Christopher Kaeding, the owner and operator of Strange Empire Gaming. Chris, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
All right. So those of you who have been listening to us so far, you know that there was a bit of a kerfuffle last week, so let's just address the elephant real quick. Thankfully, we have Chris back with us here, and we're going to make that right for you guys. So if you got through some of that episode, it's the same episode, it's a different episode. It's crazy. But thanks for coming back. We're sorry about that, and everything's golden now, right, Joey?
Everything's better.
Excellent. So, right off the bat, Chris, tell us about what's going on over there. Tell us about your store. Tell us what's going on. Give us some knowledge.
Well, as you guys stated, I own a small gaming shop out here in Caldwell, Idaho, and I've been doing this for about 2 years now, and it's been great. We've been trying to keep busy, and with everything, the state of the world, and everything else like that, you can only do so much. But we've been hanging in there pretty strong, I would like to say. And we're looking forward to being able to move forward and continue growing and expanding. And hopefully, get more gamers out there.
And now you just recently started up a website so people can order online. That's correct?
Correct. We just started it up. It's not the prettiest website out there, but hey, it's something for right now. And we're not quite ready to start doing orders across the state lines yet, but we are working towards that so we can help service other people, elsewhere.
Well, we're big fans of the local gaming shop here, so we're going to include the links to your store and to your website, and you have a Discord as well, correct?
Correct. We have a Discord, we have Facebook, and I will go ahead and provide those as well, so that way people can join. You can always search for our Discord channel. It's under Strange Empire Gaming. And if that doesn't work, of course, the links will work for sure.
Wow. So yeah, definitely. I think it's, I guess, heads up. Get ready to cross state lines, because hopefully some people will come pay you a visit. But now about this Discord, what's the point of that?
So when shit hit the fan about 5 weeks ago with this coronavirus thing, a lot of the local game stores here in my area were hopping on the Discord bandwagon to kind of keep the community connected still. Discord is a great tool for doing such. If anyone who's familiar with it knows that there's a lot you can do with Discord. It offers chat channels and also voice channels as well. We're actually hosting the Discord server since pretty much when we opened 2 years ago, and it's been a slow, thriving, growing community that we've been just collecting gamers from all over, and they chat about various topics. We even have a couple gaming groups that show up and actually do games in the channels, and we provide those channels for them to do such. Most notably, we do have a D&D group that shows up games every week, so it's a great tool to kind of help keep everyone connected through all this nonsense and continue to do what we all love and enjoy, and that's gaming, of course.
So maybe with all the werewolf people out there, you can get a werewolf game going.
Would love to, and anyone who is interested in running that, they can hit me up and we can talk details and get that started.
Now, you're no stranger to Werewolf yourself. I mean, you're here on a Werewolf podcast, and I mean, granted, we think that your perspective as a game store owner is pretty valuable and interesting, but you are not a stranger to this game.
No, I'm not. I've actually been playing since 2004. Not as much as I'd like to, but we can do what we can only do, right?
That's true.
And I think adulting plays a role in that.
It does. It really, really does. You know what, though? Things like this are great for just kind of unwinding and forgetting, hey, I'm an adult for, a couple hours. When we can, though. But, no, yeah, I've been playing it on and off, and it's been great. I've enjoyed this one a lot. I've enjoyed a lot of World of Darkness games, but most notably, Werewolf is probably my favorite.
And you're not just saying that because you're on a werewolf podcast. So.
No, never, never.
So-
You know, 'cause I don't want to be torn to shreds and have my entrails used as a Christmas garland.
Ooh, that's an idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's early in the episode yet. Don't cut your chickens, here, buddy.
Save that one for the Red Talon episode.
We could have him back for the Red Talon episode. That's an idea.
That's something you want to put yourself through. Excellent. Well, what is your preferred auspice and tribe?
For me, Ragbash, Auspice, and my preferred tribe is Silent Strider. Was the first ones I ever ran and absolutely loved it. Loved it. The Strider's Egyptian theme and everything else like that. Just their whole story just kind of resonated with me on a more personal level than most of the other tribes.
Well, I love me some Silent Striders. So, how about your least favorite? No, I'm hoping for fuel to beat up on you a little bit, is what's going on here. So, least favorite tribe?
Least favorite, I'd probably have to say, is Glasswalkers.
Okay.
You know, and that's just for me. It's because it's like, you know, I want to play something that's not so close to home, and the Glasswalkers are just a little too close to home in regards to what they stand for and what they do. That, and I've never been a huge fan of Weavery crap, I guess. So
And
there's
yet,
that.
Here we are.
Mutual Admiration Society over here, guys. Mutual Admiration Society. Now, as somebody who enjoys the Glasswalkers, is it just the Weaver tech that bothers you? Like, let's drill down in this.
Oh, it's not so much the Weaver tech. It's they're kind of ignoring a big part of what makes a werewolf, and that's they're focusing more on the human side of things and not embracing all aspects of it. And I think, you know, all tribes have their extremes in one way or the other, but they take it far to one side. Same with the Red Talons. They take it too far to the other side. You know, no tribes are balanced by any stretch of the imagination, but those two tribes in general are just so far unbalanced that to me, it's just not fun to play.
No, that's fair. I mean, like, I kind of want to jump on that, but at the same time, then this turns into a tribe episode.
It's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a different topic. It's a different podcast. So I'm gonna bite my tongue on that. We're gonna move on because I will spend an hour. Forget about it.
Save it for the Glasswalker episode.
Exactly. That's coming, guys. I don't know when. I don't have the list, but it's coming.
We gotta make a new list.
Really?
Yeah, we do.
Did we lose the old list?
No, the
Show meeting, everybody.
The old list went up in flames when the coronavirus hit.
Well, yeah, but we had the order. The order was fine. We drew it out of a hat and everything.
Oh, well, yeah. But I'm saying, like, we just need a new master list.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Back on topic.
Meeting over. You guys can listen again.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hey.
Hey. We are
I was in the
awful-
dark as much as you guys were.
We are awful
Hey.
people. It's okay. So, what would you say, like, your average customer is? Is it an adult? Is it a teenager? Is it a grandma or grandpa coming in for birthday and Christmas gifts? Like, where does your shop fall in the consumer area?
On average, I see more young adults, 20s to 30s in that range. But the whole broad spectrum is I have parents coming in with children who are just barely starting to read, who are interested in games, and people as old as like grandparents, of course, coming in to buy things for their grandkids or their children as well. So it's a very dynamic group. And my store offers a lot of different types of games, not just, tabletop RPGs, as much as I would love to expand that section. We have a lot of board games, and then we have a lot of like trading card games, like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! And, we are still a small store for being open for 2 years. So there's still a lot of room for growth, for sure. But we don't discriminate against anyone, honestly, as far as like ages or categories go. Everybody who is interested in the hobby are more than welcome through our doors.
I would certainly hope so.
I'd like to see him discriminate against somebody, just anybody, just to watch them point and laugh.
Actually, yeah. What's your stance on snake men?
On snake men?
Yeah.
As long as they don't bite people, I'm fine.
Oh, that's very progressive of you. All right.
Yeah, on a Nazi.
I mean, again, as long as they're not eating people, I'm fine. They behave themselves. If they don't, then, we're going to have a problem, and I have a flamethrower, so it works out great.
That's the anti-shoplifter.
Security is important. It's no laughing matter.
We have open carry out here, which is still a concept I'm still trying to wrap my head around, but whatever. And, the funny thing is my dad even told me when I first started opening the store, he's like, you should have a gun. And I'm like, why? That implies that A, I know how to use it. B, I have intent to use it. So C, I'd rather just use a baseball bat with nails.
No, I think the flamethrower is the better choice. Plus, it's going to be helpful in the winter months.
Exactly.
You don't need a shovel.
Yeah, but I think in a store with a lot of flammable paper, maybe not so much.
Well, he's got to be insured.
Thankfully.
See? And I'd wager he's got a ceiling so it doesn't snow inside the shop. That would also be pretty bad for business.
Unfortunately, like I said, my shop is small. It is kind of tucked inside of a building with a bunch of other shops. So I can't say for sure about other people in my building.
Okay.
I support his open carry of the flamethrower. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's brilliant.
I'm just saying, like, discretion. Discretion
is key. She is correct. But anyways, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy my shop a lot. In case no one could tell.
Now, you mentioned little kids that are just beginning to read. You're taking advantage and introducing them to Werewolf, correct?
Not quite that deep yet. I wait until they're about 10 before I start introducing them to Werewolf. Mostly because there's a lot of concepts in Werewolf that children of that age category just don't quite grasp. And, it is a very adult-themed game, honestly.
That's true. It's true. But you could get the parents to start them small with, like, kid-friendly adventures.
We do.
Right.
Actually, I have a board game that I carry in my shop that, interestingly enough, is kind of like a gateway into teaching children about role-playing games, and getting them used to the idea of working cooperatively in these types of scenarios and exploring this. And it's a legacy-type game where you play multiple sessions over a course of time, and as you play, the story progresses or changes. And it's called Stuffed Fables. It's designed for small children, and it's designed for like their parents to kind of sit down with them, and basically it's like them reading a book to their kids, and their kids are actually interacting. So it's the very essence of role-playing games.
I like that.
Get them hooked young.
Exactly. Well, I think that's important because, look, this is a bit of a niche hobby we have here. I understand. I've been told that it's growing, that it's booming. Thanks to things like Stranger Things, or there was that episode of Community a few years back. That's a bit dated, and then there's that nerd blackface show that I don't discuss. That terribly insulting pandering one.
Yes.
Yeah, but so it's hit a bit more mainstream, I guess. But and I'm told it's growing. I haven't seen evidence of that. maybe Chris could shed some light. But
It has been growing a lot, actually. I don't know if anyone's familiar with like all the demonizing that D&D went through back in like the 80s, 70s era.
Oh, yeah.
70s, 80s, into the satanic panic of the 90s.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I mean, my parents, when I got involved, were horrified and completely not supportive.
Oh yeah. My mom wouldn't let me even look at the books for like a long time, and it wasn't until I was in high school and I found a group, out in Marsing, Idaho, of all places, which is a lot smaller than Caldwell, which is smaller than Boise. And when I actually had a game at my house, people showing up to come in and play, then my mom got interested. And even to this day, she's still kind of interested, and she brings up that incident. We call it an incident, but the mindset has changed drastically from 30, 40 years ago to what it is now. And a lot of pop culture media, things like Stranger Things, Community, have actually done a lot of good in helping to broaden and expand those horizons. I mean, there are podcasts and YouTube videos of celebrities who sit down and play D&D, for Christ's sake. So,
Dan Harmon does one.
Nice.
yeah. And that's just the thing, We are a community that has been through the ringer, and we are continuing to move forward and build as time progresses, which is awesome. And that's one of the main driving forces as to why I started the game shop in the first place, is because I want to be that person to help expand and broaden this hobby of ours. I would love to see like some of the older games revamped or brought back. Werewolf did a really awesome job, honestly, with like just White Wolf in general, for their 20th anniversary edition stuff. It was a shame that it was only like Kickstarter stuff, or what was that? Drive-Thru RPG.
Yeah, that ran through Drive-Thru RPG. I do got to correct you. That was through Onyx Path, actually.
Yeah.
That was Rich Thomas who put that together, and thank fuck he did, because I think the 20th anniversary editions are just fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it did actually help like shine a spotlight back on this hobby that we've been, taking part in for so long.
And absolutely, and like Chris, you said there, cultivating it and for the next generation. I think that's fantastic. I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
So hats off to you on that.
Now, what advice would you give to young adults whose families don't understand? They don't have any concept of what these kids want to do, and the parents might be concerned.
And that's fair. Being a parent these days and age is kind of frightening, and there's a lot of stuff out there. The biggest thing I can really honestly say is, if you as a child or a young adult are interested in these things and you're still with your parents, talk to them. Have them come in and talk to store owners like myself. We're happy to sit down and educate and explain a lot of how these things work and what they're actually all about. I do a lot of when I have customers in my shop, I do a lot of talking to them about various games, and telling them about D&D for a very brief moment of time, and then I divulge into things like Werewolf, my old favorites, and I just tell them, and I get excited about it. That's the thing I think that helps sells these things a lot, is people will see like the store owners or the store employees' excitement about these games, and see that these aren't so bad, honestly. My kid might be interested in these things, and they can still grow up to be a neurosurgeon or a day laborer or whatever. It's important just to kind of gain perspective And the best way to kind of gain that perspective, in my opinion, is to reach out to the local game stores. They have a lot of tools at their disposal to introduce people to these things. I mean, Christ's sakes, we have events at our shop when we can, and those are generally free. So it's not, people don't even have to invest a whole lot of money into these things. And that's, probably like number 2 concern for a lot of parents is money. It's how much is this going to cost? And, if we have these events and people can see like, oh, okay, so this isn't going to be something like I'm going to dump, $150 on books and then my kid's just never going to touch them again.
They're going to drop $150 on books, just not right away.
Right.
More than
well,
Yep. Don't tell them that,
you
though.
get
Don't
all
tell
your
them.
basics. But, we have these events and their children can come in and participate in these events. And if the kids like them, then great. Then the parents know that this is a hobby that their kid is going to enjoy and progress with further on.
Well, and it's a hobby involving, imagination and language, the power of words. And I think that's very important in a society where the letter U is now considered a real word.
Right.
And what am I always telling people? Use your words.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard porters use that frequently. I mean, I've known this guy for, 14, 15 years, somewhere in there. And
yeah.
I swear to Christ, without fail, if I'm stumbling, he's like, use your words.
Yeah, but I'm usually mocking you, so.
It really is. But still, but yeah. And in an era where video games are rampant, a lot of kids are more drawn to video games, and that's fine. But if they have any level of imagination, and I've heard this a lot, like people will come in, it's like, oh, I've been interested in D&D or, whatever, and I just don't have imagination. And I'm like, dude, you're not even trying. Like, literally, come to one of these events, sit down. If you're struggling, hey, we can help.
And I
mean, honestly,
I think we need to touch on the social aspect of the game store.
Yeah. It's huge, honestly. I mean, video games, yeah, you can talk and you can be social with other people and stuff like that, but the biggest thing is you're not having that face-to-face interaction. And I've always struggled with video games because it's like there's a lot of trash talking and other things like that. Granted, there's trash talking too at the shop, but we know it's all in jest, it's all in fun, usually. But that face-to-face interaction is huge, and I feel like it's really important, especially in an era where we just don't have to do that if we don't want to. Being able to actually converse with your fellow gamers, and because you both have, or all of you have, shared interest in something, and just seeing expression is, probably the biggest thing. Because, in chat, in text, things don't always get conveyed the same way as with body language. And to role play is more than just I roll dice, my character does this. It's body language, it's expression, and being able to be out there and do that is a lot of fun, honestly. And again, we go back to that individual who says, I just don't have an imagination. And it's like, just try. It doesn't take much. And once you start getting the hang of it and the grasp of it, you can continue with it. And it's just like anything else, skill-wise, if you want to be good at it, keep doing it.
Well, I think part of that too, I would imagine, coming from someone who wasn't a gamer, would be the fear of it, the fear of looking silly, the fear of looking stupid, fear of doing it wrong. And, I think it's great that, there are shop owners out there like you who are providing that resource to help them get over those first steps. fucking dip a toe in, get the whole foot in, go down. Hey, you're knee deep in it now. Everything's gonna be okay. It's
Yep.
important.
And I think, talking as a parent here, knowing that I could bring my kid to a store, a game shop, and drop him off and let him have fun for, 4 or 5 hours, and then go and pick him up. That gives me a much needed break, So that's neat too.
I have parents come in with their kids to play even, and that's awesome too because it's a great bonding experience for you and your kids.
Yeah,
as well.
whoa. I don't need to bond with my kids. I'm good. Thanks. They can stay over there. I'll stay over here. It's all good.
I've actually had one of my friends, his sister-in-law. She told me, she's like, if you had like a little couch over here with some books and maybe even some wine, I'd come in and just hang out while my kids
wine.
play.
Ooh, yes. Yes, you need to do that.
Get your liquor license. I'll show up. I will show up.
That is actually in the plans for the future for the shop, honestly.
Now, okay. That raises a question. So you're in the pro drinking and gaming camp because there are some pretty hard battle lines on this.
There are. I am a person within reason. As long as you come in and you are responsible, having one or two, is fine.
Adult beverages.
And then not like overindulging to the point where you're just completely shit-faced is, that's not okay. As long as you know your boundaries and everything else like that, that's fine. But if someone has to tell you, hey, you've had enough, then maybe you should reconsider your life choices at that point. As far as like just gaming and drinking and
you're not their dad, sir.
I'm not, but if it's in my store and it's disruptive, I get to be dad.
I don't think you can tell them what to do, but I feel like there's implications there with the mother, and I think that no, you're not their dad. you can be the boss of them, that I'm with, but
all right, I can accept that. That's fine. But the other thing though too is like in that setting, in that scenario, of course, it's not going to be like drinking in front of children. So that's where like states and stuff like that get involved, and we have to make sure we have a separate area for things of that nature. So when it's like the parents don't bring the kids kind of thing, they can go and game and be adults and do whatever within reason. That's fine. But all in all, I've never really been totally against the whole having a few drinks at a gaming table scenario.
Now, do you have a name for this hypothetical future booze and game store?
It's still going to be Strange Empire Gaming. I mean,
so you're keeping the name?
Yeah, I'm keeping the name. Are you kidding me?
All right.
I mean, I'm building a brand.
Oh, it's
been 2 years in the making, and if I keep going with it, I'm not going to just change it because then that just messes up everything.
Well, I just thought you might want to go with something, maybe a bit snappier.
You got any
snappier.
You have any suggestions?
Well, like Porter's Strange Empire Gaming, or Strange Empire Gaming, hosted by Rage Across the Internet podcast, or Rage Across the Internet presents Strange Empire Gaming.
For very healthy, generous donations, we can definitely consider tacking on, names and stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. How about we air this one? We'll call it even.
And people will get with your people and we'll discuss it.
Yeah, we'll actually air this one, and then we'll call that square.
Speaking of generous donations, you, sir, have a GoFundMe.
Tell us about that.
Yes. Due to like the whole economic stress of the coronavirus and stuff like that, I discovered there's a lot of programs out there to try and help small businesses. Unfortunately, most of those programs are for small businesses that are not quite like mine. Mine falls kind of into the cracks. So I started a GoFundMe page to kind of help bolster that and help keep the store alive. It's very important to kind of help keep your local stores, period, your mom and pop shops. And my GoFundMe page is to kind of help not just myself and my business, but all the other businesses in my building, because we have been shut down for like 5 weeks. And there are some businesses that in that building that just can't. They don't have the ability to do things like online stores and stuff like that. So I started this to kind of help out everybody as a community effort, and hopefully, get other people to kind of do the same in the area, start their own GoFundMes and try and help themselves build our community up, because Caldwell was growing pretty well up until about 5 weeks ago, and this kind of, I feel, is going to stunt the growth of our community as a whole. So, there's that.
And we will link the GoFundMe in the description, and hopefully our listeners can make donations.
Yeah, and joke's on you. We've already recorded a bit, a little spot for it, which will be tacked onto this one and probably the next one,
and maybe the one after that.
Maybe, but like you'll hear later. If you can help, that's fantastic. But of course, we all understand that times are tough, and
right. And it's not like we're asking for you to like donate whole paychecks or anything else like that.
If you can, that would be fantastic.
That would be great,
But if you're going to do that, we can get a donate button or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Sorry, I'm trying to steal the money that you're not getting. We're trying to steal fake money from you. I'm sorry.
It's just, but I don't want anybody to kind of put themselves in a situation where they're just not able to.
And I think
take care of themselves.
I think that's where our listeners are probably adults and can make that decision for themselves.
That's true. My theory on the whole thing is like, if it gets out to 10,000 people and 10,000 people donate $1, then that's awesome.
That would be fantastic.
That's honestly, it's just that little bit, and some people just don't quite grasp that concept, I guess. But whatever. I can take what I can get, and I can run with whatever I'm given. So
hey, bright side, we're gonna do what we can.
And I appreciate it. Honestly,
it's something we believe in. I mean, coming up here, I think about the different game stores I used to go to. Back when White Wolf was, proper White Wolf was producing the stuff. Here's we're getting the new Tri books, we're getting the new core books. Oh my God, Book of the Weaver came out. And, there were 2 or 3 game shops I would go to get my stuff, and not a single one of them are here today.
Yeah.
And that's just a fucking shame. So, we're trying to help. Hopefully it pans out.
I can remember a few game shops back in the day in my area. Like, we didn't have very many, and now we've got, I want to say probably even a smaller handful. Like, I can count them on 2 hands. So,
but hey, you're here now, and hopefully you will be for a good long while.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it is time that we head over to the Cubs Corner.
Okay.
That sounds about right?
Yeah. We can do that.
And I think we have a question with you in mind here, if you want to join us for the Cubs Corner here.
Yeah, definitely.
Chris? Excellent. We're looking for it. Everything's okay.
We'll cut it out in editing.
We're not going to do that. Should make ourselves look like
intermission.
Fools.
In fact, we're going to add more time. That's what we're going to do.
Mwaha. So,
Can we talk about llamas while we wait for the question, or?
Well, we've got the question now. You just did.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations.
Okay. I just found your podcast and I'm loving it, but I've never played Werewolf. I've played 3.5E and 5E and like playing a fighter. What character would be best for me? And how similar or different is this than D&D? So I suppose that's a couple of questions right there.
Yeah. First of all, it's very different. I think, did we cover that? No, we didn't. D&D is more of a kind of it's just a hack and slash loot kind of scenario, honestly. D&D is all about your character, and when they get that loot, they become better and stronger. And in order to become better and stronger, you have to go and get loot. So that's basically just a smash and grab, kind of like Diablo or any of those types of games out there. Werewolf is more about the story. It's more about developing your character through, gripping storytelling and other avenues, honestly. And then for someone to switch over from D&D to Werewolf, who's been playing a fighter, there's several options available, and the most obvious one would be probably an Arun. Although any of the auspices can be great murder machines, it's just they excel at being the perfect murder machine. And then it just kind of boils down to what tribe you want to actually play from that point.
Yeah, I would say just playing a Garu in general puts you in a position that would be similar to a fighter. I mean, it's a whole race of
9 foot
fighters.
tall murder machines.
Yeah, and I think you're already in good shape in terms of concept, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm not a D&D guy.
And I think Werewolf is more about the intricacies of life and the situations you can be put in and fighting that battle.
It certainly can be. There's a large well in Werewolf to draw from. At least in my experience with D&D, there's, it's like Chris said, there's not. It's about about getting stuff.
Yeah, we went and we robbed this dragon. Okay, now you're, running from dragons.
You kill the orcs to grab the orcs' gear, to kill the dragon, to get the dragon's gear, to whatever is above a dragon. I don't know the rules.
I don't know.
Yep, and it's D&D has always kind of just been that tier progressive. You kill goblins, you start killing orcs, you start and you start moving up the chain of baddies and stuff like that. Werewolf, it's like, here are your baddies. They're going to kick your ass now. Have fun. In a lot of respects.
Well, I mean, sure, but then there's also, the spirit world. There's the tribal politics. There's sept politics, which is not, for those who aren't aware, don't confuse that for our current real world politics. It's not. It's not that at all.
No.
It's not that at all.
No, and
it is definitely different.
And I mean, there's just so many more avenues you can go down besides the smash and grab. It's the, this person doesn't like me. What did I do to them? Well, you may have done nothing to them. You might remind them of a situation that happened, and too bad.
Maybe it's an old blood feud. Maybe it's, an elder likes you better than this person. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or, maybe it's you're fighting the monster of the week, or maybe you're going after a corrupt corporation. Maybe you're going through the spirit world to try to cleanse something or find something that was lost. You have a lot more avenues to go.
Definitely. D&D, it's kind of funny. We attribute an adventuring party in D&D as a hapless murder hobos.
Where here at the podcast, the Garu Nation is referred to as the nature-worshipping murder cult. So that's kind of, I like that. That's good.
See? Hapless murder hobos, nature worshipping murder cult. It's great,
It's so much fun to say. But I guess that is.
I was going to say, ideally, it's just kind of like, what flavor of role-playing do you really want to play deep down? So.
You want Werewolf. You want Werewolf.
You do.
Werewolf is the answer.
It so often is. So many things.
Yeah.
But that is our Cubs Corner, and I think that's going to be the show for today. Chris, you want to thank you for joining. You want to stick around and do another one with us?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, you sit tight. The rest of you, we'll see you next week. We want to thank you for joining us. Remind you that you can contact us, and we would love to hear from you at rageacrosspodcast at gmail.com. I did it again.
But you corrected yourself this time.
I did correct it. You know what's funny is there is a rageacrosspodcast at gmail.com too. I did both of them.
Just because you were messing up so much?
Just because I messed you. You don't want to say so much.
So much.
But, sure. You can also find us on Facebook at Rage Across the Internet, and over at Joey's domain on Twitter at Rage Across. You're already listening to us, but when you tell your friends, and you should tell your friends, you should tell your enemies, tell your relatives, tell everybody.
Tell your second cousins. We don't care.
Everybody, tell everyone you've ever heard of. Get on the street with a microphone like a crazy man and scream at the rooftops at Rage Across the Internet. Can be found on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and our site, rageacrosstheinternet.buzzsprout.com, although that's going to change soon.
And we're going to have an announcement.
Pretty soon. Hold on to that. But in the meantime, for everyone here at the Summer Inn Studios, we want to say thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you. We hope to see you again next week. Take care. Be excellent to each other. See ya. Hey, everybody. Porter here. With the current goings on in the world, we know that things are tough all over, and small businesses left and right are closing their doors, some possibly for the last time. Now, friend of the show, Christopher Kaeding, over at Strange Empire Gaming, has started a GoFundMe to help not only his store, but the other small businesses in the Maddie's Plaza small business park that maybe don't qualify for the financial aid out there. Now, again, I know it's tough times, and a lot of people are unemployed. Some got employment, some didn't. So we understand if you don't have anything to give, there's no problem at all. But if you do, if you have some extra cash sitting around, maybe consider taking a look and donating to a good cause. All on their own, game stores were closing left and right. But situations like this, it just seems like such a shame to see something close, to see a game store close down. Anything you can do to help would be fantastic. And again, if you can't, we completely understand. But as proponents for the local game store, us here at the podcast, we have to try and get the word out. So again, please, if you can do something, we really appreciate it. If not, it's okay. But thank you for your time. Keep being excellent to each other. We'll see you next episode.
Rage Across the Internet's music is It's Into the Fog by Darren Curtis, shared with a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 unported license. For details, check out the information under the podcast.